Smith. We're going to be doing a live broadcast today about how to take back control of your anxiety and get to a calmer place. So welcome, Sue. Lovely to see you. Psychologies is doing a broadcast at 1 p.m. for the Psychologies Connected community. So do join us on Facebook. Bring your friends, bring your aunties, bring anybody, your parents, anybody who needs support. We're doing live broadcasts every lunchtime at 1 p.m. in our Psychologies Connected community. So look forward to seeing you there. But today I'm very excited. We have the wonderful Sue Smith, top UKC therapist, yoga teacher and hypnotherapist, and she's going to help us navigate our anxiety with some really practical self-help tools. So first of all, Sue, welcome. Lovely to see you. How can we feel more in control of our emotions?
Well, I think the first thing, hello, Susie, and I think the first thing is we have to accept our limitations. We have to accept what we can control and what we can't control. So I might want the sun to shine, but it's raining. There's nothing I can do about that. I might want my sister to behave in a certain way, but I have no control over her. I can't do that. So I really have to accept what my limitations are, and I have to then come back into, and that's usually a bit of an inner journey. Well, what am I in control of? And actually we can begin to control some of our physiology simply by changing our breathing, for example. Many people think they're not in control of all their thoughts and their minds, but actually I hope that I can share today that to some degree we can gain more control over our thinking than we might think that we can. So you could look at, well, look, okay, I'm not able to get on the train and go to work and join my colleagues, but as I did at the weekend, inspired by a friend of mine, we sat down 6 couples and we had a quiz night on Zoom. So that's what we've done to be in control of our social life, to make sure that we are still able to connect. I can't, as I say, get on a train and go to work, or I can't go to my usual yoga class, but I could roll around on a mat at home or grab a towel and do some stretching. I could go for a run in the park. Actually, I never run in the park, but that's another thing. So it's looking at what we can do, what we are in control of, rather than keep, hammering against the door that isn't going to open, because that's just going to bring more stress. Being out of control is stressful. So we have to look at, well, okay, what can I do with my day? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I know I absolutely, it's like, look at how we can control our thoughts and what we are in control of is in our environment. Brilliant advice. But how do we stop the anxiety? Because I think everyone's anxiety seems to be quite high. How can we sort of just lower that slightly so we can be as productive as possible? I mean, in a way, we've got some time that we wouldn't normally have. I mean, I'm not having to go out at night. I've got more time and energy if I'm in a highly anxious state, I can't do anything with that. I just feel myself feeling anxious and angry, and I feel horrible. So but when I can calm myself down and get myself into a productive state, I can start writing, I can start reading, I can start coming up with new ideas. It's really great. So how do we turn down the anxiety?
Well, I think it's interesting that you said, anxiety, and your hands went to a part of your body, because I think we feel anxious usually somewhere from the chin downwards. It's rarely in the head. We might think anxious thoughts, but we feel anxious somewhere in the body. So my stomach might be churning. I might feel a clutching in my chest or a lump in my throat. And so the first thing is actually locating the feeling and recognizing that feeling is actually in my body somewhere. And although we may spend a lot of time trying to get away from that feeling, I would urge us to turn around and walk straight into the eye of the storm. Go into that feeling. So you don't have to close your eyes to do this, but you could just locate the feeling and then consciously do something. Yes, even touching where that feeling is. So touching hand on your belly or on your heart or on your throat, wherever you feel that feeling. And one of the things that you could do is just to imagine that you could begin to direct your breathing right into the middle of that anxiety and aim to slow your breathing down. So how do you do that? because the more anxious we are, the shorter the breath is. And what we want to do is have long, slow breaths. So something as simple as making sound, whistling, singing, chanting are all ways of controlling the breath. So, for example, if I go ah at the end of that, I have to take another breath in. And often, if the longer we make the out breath and the sound or the whistle or the song, the more breath we will then take in for the next breath, and then the longer the next out breath will be. So simple things like chanting through the vowel sounds and find which one resonates with you. Even singing happy birthday or whistling, at the end of it, you'll have to breathe in again. And when you breathe in again, the diaphragm drops down, making more room in the lower lobes of the lungs for more breath. And that simply changes your physiology. So taking the time to slow your breathing down with some singing or some chanting, or if you're just comfortable, to just actually work on taking a longer, slower inhalation.
Doing it.
Yes, yeah. And a longer, slower exhalation, imagining it's coming right out of the place where you feel that tension and that anxiety most of all. And there may be a part of it that goes, oh, I can't do this, but stay with it and work with your breathing, because that, more than anything else, will change that feeling. It really, really will.
I can my shoulders are dropping. By just even doing this, I can feel my shoulders dropping.
Yes.
So what I notice often is when I start noticing my body again, I've done a little bit of mindfulness, and I'm like up here the whole time, like walking around, and then as soon as I start breathing, noticing my shoulders go down.
Yes.
And I literally lean back.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, you're telling your body, aren't you? You're literally telling your body, relax.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is the rest of your body is actually very, very obedient. It's following out an old instruction by being anxious, or it's working with a thought that's saying there's something to be afraid of here. And actually you need to override that and give yourself a new instruction. So it could be, I'm relaxing my neck and shoulders. My neck and shoulders are now relaxing. Always use the word now. I'm relaxing my abdomen or my stomach. My stomach is now relaxing. If you sense that your stomach is tight, I'm relaxing my chest. My chest is relaxing. The body is obedient. Anybody that's ever worked with me knows that I always work with if you can see that, Russian dolls. And every part, there's hundreds of these dolls that represent parts of us from the past. And it's as if we're talking to those parts. It's as if you're talking to other parts of you that need to learn to relax. And you can do this. We can all gain that control by telling the body what we want from it, and then telling it, I'm relaxing my stomach muscles are now relaxing. I'm relaxing my neck and shoulders are now relaxing. So until the body starts to obey, and it will do. But like anything else, you don't go to the gym once and work on a pec deck and expect to have good firm biceps and triceps. You have to go every day, and we have to work with our anxieties every day to diminish them. Does that kind of?
I have had a moment of thinking about this current crisis is a masterclass in managing our anxiety. And so if every time we felt anxious, we started just uses that one tool to breathe into that, to drop our shoulders. Once we're through this, and it will end, this current crisis will end, then we will be much better at managing our anxiety. So I love the idea of talking to the body, but what about this whole thing of when your mind starts worrying? So I know I'm highly imaginative, so I can imagine really wonderful things, but I can also imagine doomsday scenarios. And when I'm tired, when I'm feeling a bit low, when the anxious thoughts are getting, and my mind starts worrying, it doesn't take me to a good place. So how can we stop our mind from overthinking and going into the dark places that we really don't want to go?
Yes. Your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind, your long-term memory, holds the record of everything that's ever happened to you. According to quantum physics, we're said to be processing 44 billion bits of information per second. So there's a lot of information in the back of the mind, and its storage capacity is said to be infinite. And it's full of whatever brain food you've put in there. So if you have a love of horror movies, guess what? You could have those kind of scary things coming out of the woodwork at night when you're just drifting off to sleep. And I'm sorry to say, but a daily diet of the news, and I think it was Stephen Covey who said, the first hour in the morning, the last hour at night are our golden hours. This is when we're really feeding ourselves brain food. And if you're watching the news and the latest reports and all that drip-filled kind of fear-mongering, and some people can just shrug that off and that's great. But for many other people, that will amount to feeling very, very anxious. So I would be very discerning about what you're putting in your mind. And I usually say to clients who have anxiety or panic attacks, would you sit a small child in front of a horror movie? And the answer is always, no, of course I wouldn't. And you know, well, why not? Why wouldn't you? Well, you know that would upset them and that would damage them in some way, and that would be possibly have long-term consequences. So don't do it to yourself. Be very mindful of what you're looking at. Read things, watch things that make you laugh. Laughter is the best medicine there is. Go to YouTube, ask your friends, your families for recommendations on the funniest things that they've ever seen, read, the best, funniest books they've ever read, films, comedy shows, and have a daily diet of laughter, because I think, you know, that changes your hormones, it changes your chemical balance, and you'll feel better from that. The other thing is, for example, if at night you're just about to go to bed and your mind starts to be plagued on a loop of negative thinking, there's a lovely yoga exercise known as Brahmari, where it's simply a load of M's, and you cover your ears, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and you keep doing that. And as you know from earlier, that's an out breath, that's an exhalation. So your physiology is beginning to calm down and relax. You make the sound for as long as you can, and you keep doing it until your mind settles down. So if you imagine the mind as the sea with big choppy waves, after a while of changing the vibration, because sound is vibration, you will quieten the waves, and they'll start to become slower, and the sea will become calmer, and then you can get your head down, go to sleep. And you can do this during the day. You can do periods of Brahmari, of the humming bee, as it's known. I think it was Deepak Chopra who talks about, if you have a metal plate with a little pile of sand on it, and you play a violin bow down the side of that plate, the sand will dance around into different patterns. And that's because sound is vibration. So by using sound and vibration, you can change the structure of the cellular structure and what's going on to bring yourself to a calmer state. So
I love
they're
that.
practical things.
And also it's about taking it from the head and all of this to vibration. It's kind of working in the body. So these are great tips. This is really good. So what I'm hearing you say is we take control of what we, put the focus on what we can control. There's a lot at the moment where we can't control, but there's a lot that you can control. So put your focus there. To when you're feeling anxious, to breathe into the anxiety and just breathe, and then to talk to your body. It's like, and now I feel my shoulders relax, all of those. I love the tip about the first hour and the last hour of the day is just making sure that you you're filling your mind with, whether it's with a meditation, the humming bee meditation, or it's with good positive uplifting stories, or maybe something wise you can read that will help you. And in terms of just, it was a perfect antidote for overthinking, really. So these are great tips. Have you, before we go, so your website is Stresshacker, which is below. I know that you're giving us this, thank you so much. The Psychologies are a wonderful free program that we can all do. So thank you very much. And hopefully that all our readers will be signing up for that. So thank you so much, Sue, for giving us that. I really appreciate it. Before we go, is there one last piece of wisdom that you might have, just one thing that people could take away on top of what we've already did that will really help us over the coming weeks?
Do something to change your mind. If you're having an anxious thought, try the 5 times table. Try to remember the words of one particular song all the way through, but usefully employ your mind doing something else. In the same way that if a child is doing something that's dangerous, putting their wet fingers into a plug, you would distract them quickly. You have more effect if you say, oh, look at this, and the mind has that same quality. So just decide, right, okay, I'm going to sing a song, happy birthday to you, la 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 la, 5 5s are 4, la, da, 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 da. So recite something that usefully employs the mind. I never could do my times tables, and take it away from the thing that it's thinking about. So, and keep doing it. It's like if an unruly child ran off in a supermarket, you would go and take their hand and bring them back to stand at the checkout, and then they run off again. You go and get them again, and you bring them back. So repetition is the mother of all skill. And so you keep repeating this. Do something every day to help yourself to feel better. I've got 12 tips that I'm just about to put onto my website. 12 tips for taking care of yourself and looking after, distracting your mind away from anxious thoughts. So, yeah.
Great. Okay, well, I'm sure many of us will be tuning in to that to get those tips. So thank you so much for today, Sue. That was so useful. I feel calm already just even doing that that short breathing exercise. I feel calm. I want to try the humming bee one.
The word now is also vital when you're talking to your body, because there is so many other parts of you. You're telling all of them to do this now. I'm relaxing my neck and shoulders. My neck and shoulders are now relaxing. So the word now is absolutely vital because of the nature of the unconscious mind, which is too much to go into here, but it's really important to use that word. I'm now relaxing my stomach and abdomen.
Yeah, bring it present now.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sue, thank you so much for your time today. Remember, for all our listeners and our readers, we are on 1 o'clock every day with different brilliant, wonderful experts who are going to help us navigate the next few weeks. We can do this. We're going to do it together. You're not alone. We're here for you. Lots of love, everybody. Bye-bye, Sue.
Bye. Lovely to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.